From prep school to doctoral university, the University of Maryland Eastern Shore's evolution over the past 130 years is nothing short of remarkable.
But when you really dig into its history, you'll find that from its humble beginnings, the institution's leaders were blazing a trail for others to follow. And we learn more in today's Marker Monday.
So this really was a feeder school for Morgan State College.
Dr. Catherine Barrett Gaines is an associate professor of history at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Today's lesson, the history of U.M.E.S. And class is in session. We begin in 1886 when leaders of the Methodist Episcopal denomination in Maryland bought a 16-acre farm east of Princess Anne. They wanted to provide education to the children of former slaves.
What the Methodist ministers did, which was pretty smart, is they sent the white minister to buy the land.
9 students and 2 teachers would make up the Delaware Conference Academy.
Teachers and the students all lived together in this house, and they studied things like, writing, math, reading.
The following spring, enrollment jumped to about 36 students under instructors Benjamin Byrd and his wife Portia. Benjamin Byrd is considered the Academy's first principal. His wife would assume the position following his death in 1897.
A black woman was the leader of a school of higher learning in the United States of America in the 1800s. Portia Byrd.
Both Benjamin and Portia are buried on campus. The Delaware Conference Academy eventually became Princess Anne Academy.
So the University of Maryland College Park eventually bought this place because they wanted to keep black people out of the University of Maryland College Park. So in order to have some place for them to go, they bought this place to send the black people. Now,
Dr. Barrett Gaines says that created a problem for students who wanted a degree offered in College Park, but not here.
University of Maryland College Park has things like a law school, and this basically was a high school.
Princess Anne Academy would eventually become Princess Anne College in 1927. In 1947, the school got a new name, Maryland State College, and its first president, John T. Williams. He held that position until 1970.
The 40s, the 50s, the 60s, all the way up to 1970.
According to Dr. Barrett Gaines, Williams didn't change with the times between the 40s and the 70s.
Nothing wrong with him, he's a fine man, but he was still in the 40s and 50s. They were moving into the 1970s. So what they did was, they got rid of him. The kids did, the students. They formed a circle around this building, then they went in and they sat in. They occupied his office. They loved him. They were like, look, you were great for 33 years. But now it's 1970, right? We're not that anymore, and we've got to move on. So he resigned.
But Williams' accomplishments are still honored on campus. Outside of John T. Williams Hall is a statue of the longtime president. 1970 is also when the name of the school changed from Maryland State College to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Dr. William P. Heitch would move into the president's office in 1975 and stay there until 1996.
So here's a business owner, a math teacher, becomes president and becomes one of the best presidents that he stays in decades himself. Most of the buildings you see around here were built under Dr. Heitch, which is why we also have a statue dedicated to him.
As Dr. Barrett Gaines points out how significant history is marked on the campus of U.M.E.S., she also notes some other lesser-known history that was made here. Each day, hundreds of students walk this sidewalk on their way to class, and what they may not realize is they're walking in the footsteps of some pretty notable people, including Eleanor Roosevelt and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Sometimes when you see pictures of Martin Luther King's visit here, he's often pictured at that spot. Now, he looks like he's standing on a road because that was a road. And he's waiting to go up some steps because those steps walked into Kaya Gym. He was waiting to deliver the commencement address. That's where they used to have commencement.
This picture shows Eleanor Roosevelt walking into what was Kaya Gym with President Williams in 1954. U.M.E.S. has grown exponentially since 1886, going from 16 acres to 1,100 acres. Fewer than a dozen students to more than 4,000 students with 37 undergraduate areas of study, as well as 15 master's degrees and 8 doctoral degree programs. putting it at number 16 in the top 25 historically black colleges and universities.
U.M.E.S was a powerhouse in college football for decades. It is tied with Florida State for the most alumni appearing in a single Super Bowl game. That was back in 1968.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'd be neat if we could get a football
Yeah, they've looked
program back
into
there.
it. Just hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet.